Well, let's get started. I think people will come in late, but so welcome to the last class of basically 129 material. Because next week we're going to decide what we want to cover at the end of today's class. So today we're going to keep going over object-oriented programming. And what is due today? So you got the quiz, Module 11 quiz, and the Module 11 brainstorm. So this is all on object-oriented programming. So there's just two things due tonight. And then I will ask you guys at the end of class when everybody's here what you want to do for next week. And then if we have time, I brought my guitar since I'm doing a little open mic thing, so I might play a song for you guys at the end of class if you want, if we still have some time. So yeah, think about what you want to learn next week for Tuesday and Thursday. And we could even break it up if you want. We could do some new topic on Tuesday and then review for the final on Thursday. Something like that if you wanted. We can't spend both classes reviewing for the final. It'd be just boring, I think. There's too much to cover. But I am going to show you next week. I've already written the final coding exam. And I will show you how it runs. I'll just run mine so you can see the output of it. I won't show you the code, but I'll show you what it looks like when it runs, okay? Let's look at CSV files real fast here. And I think a lot of you guys wrote your CSVs like this. It would have something like Bill, Jones, I'll make it count. Jones, and then the three scores, 99, 87. So that would be the first line of the CSV, right? So that call this grades.csv. And then the second line might be Fred, Smith, and then he had, he didn't do so good, 55, 66, 77. Okay. So this is the file. So what is wrong? Does anybody see anything wrong with this CSV file?
Oh, wait, as a CSV file? Or
Yeah. Yeah. And in the assignment it even said,
Is it because there's no quotes around
yeah, there's no quotes.
Oh, okay, so as the code then, that's
Yeah.
what I meant, like it won't have quotes in
Yeah,
the
okay.
CSV file.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing is, in a CSV file, you can tell it by putting quotes around things that this is a string. So when you read it in to like Excel or something, it's going to read this in as a string and these in as numbers, okay? But as it's stored in the file, everything is actually text. Everything is stored as text, okay? This is just all text as far as Python is concerned. It's just text, and there's actually a hidden new line in here, which you can't see. But it's all stored as text in there as far as Python is concerned. So when you read it, you have to convert the things that are supposed to be integers into integers, and then these things are going to be quoted at the end. So if you're writing, so this would be a good CSV file. This is good. So the way to, and I think I sent this to all you guys, the way to, if you've got Bill and you're reading, say you're reading this in, you're reading this in from the user, right? Hey. And you're saying, I'll call it F name, comma, L name, exam 1, exam 2, exam 3 equals input enter, I'm just gonna repeat this, first name, last name, exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, okay? Okay. And then I'm gonna split this, I ran out of space here, on commas. Okay. So the user is gonna enter Bill, comma, Jones, comma, 88, 99, comma, 87. So Bill's gonna go into here. These are all text at this point. This is gonna go into this variable, this is gonna go into this one. Okay? These are all text. Okay? In the writer, when you say open grades.csv, and this is where you, let's see, I have to look this up, but there's a little special keyword here. Let me see if I sent this to you guys. Check this real fast here. Where's that at? Okay, here we go. Where's my writer? There it is. Okay. All right. So this is really what it looks like. I know this is small. Sorry. So you're saying with open. Then you're saying grades.csv, right? That's the output file. And then here's the key, and you're saying mode equals W to write. Okay. And then we'll just say as grades. This is the file handle. And then this is the key right here. You say writer equals CSV writer. This is where you guys needed to add something. CSV writer. So you're writing to grades, which is really pointing to grades.csv. And then here's the key. You say quoting dot CSV dot quote non-numeric. Okay, so that's the key right there. Right here, this whole line, when you start printing that out, it looks, when you start outputting it, it says these are non-numeric, so I'm going to put quotes around them in the output. So this was the key little argument, and it's not found in the book. Let me make this a little bigger. So that was the key in order to create the correct CSV file, and very few people actually got this right the first time. Let me make this bigger for you guys. Very few people got this right. So this is what a good CSV file should look like. If it has strings, they should be surrounded by double quotes. If it has numbers, they don't. Because then when you read it into another file, it's going to know, it's going to say, these double quotes say string, these say integers. Okay, so this part right here is the key. If you leave that off, so here's what's happening. So I'm opening grades, CSV, I'm going to write. So mode W means I'm going to write. If the file doesn't exist, it's going to be created. If it does exist, it's going to be blown away and a new one's going to be created. And then I've got a loop here for I in range 3. I'm going to do this 3 times. I'm going to prompt the user. You can't see the other side, it's split. And then I'm going to do writer.writeRow, first name, last name, and then I'm converting exam 1 to an int, exam 2 to an int, and exam 3 is an integer. Remember, all this stuff since I'm using input right here, everything is text, right? When you use the input function, it all comes back as text. I'm not converting anything to an integer because they're all mixed up in here. So I'm reading everything as text first, and then down here I'm converting it. These two are going to go in as text, and then these are integers, and then this thing says, quote, non-numeric. Put quotes around everything that's not a number. So that's how we get that.
Okay.
And I think, let me let you guys in here. So that's pretty much how we got that. And very few people in both of my classes got that. And I just marked you off a couple points, like maybe 4 points or something for not getting it. So anyway, this is the beauty of CSV files, is you can surround text with double quotes, and you could even do this if you wanted. Maybe somebody had like 2 first names, like say his name was L, comma Sid. That was his first name, and it had a comma in it, right? And then his last name was I already used Jones. What's another one?
Paul?
Paul, whatever.
Oh.
And then he got a 77, an 88, and a 99. So this is pretty cool. I've got a comma in here, but it reads this as one. When you read this in, this is going to be put into one field, like in Excel, for example. It's going to say, what are your delimiters for text? Double quotes. Okay, so I see this whole string that has a comma in it as one field. Okay, so this is one of the nice things about CSV files. Okay. All right, let's get back to, does any questions on that? Most everybody did pretty well
We
on
may,
that.
yeah, they're permanently, right? Never mind, it's not a question.
Okay, so again, what's due today? You got the quiz tonight at midnight and the brainstorm. And again, you don't have to record it, you can just type it up. And I don't think it's super difficult. I think it's like, what is a class? Let me let you guys in here. Hang on a second. Well, let me go there right now. I think it's what is a class. I don't think it's that difficult. What is, let me pull it up real fast here. Okay, today is, okay, yeah, here it is. Make this bigger. Okay, let me switch screens for 1 second. Okay, this is what's due tonight. Can even make it bigger. Okay, there we go. All right.
I think that's due next week. I think that's module 12.
Is this due next week? My bad. Oh yeah, you're right. Hang on. Oh, this is files. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. Hang on. Oh wait, is this what? No, wait. This is so easy, guys. Okay, so this is Brittany's. When we came up with this class, this is what Brittany likes to do. So you just have to answer these 5 questions. Did your program behave exactly as you expected on the first try? Probably not. Just, you don't have to write a book, just 1 sentence is fine. Are all the words spelled correctly? What values could be tested? What did you find difficult? What did you find simple? Respond using text, video, or audio. And then you just need to respond to, I think, you need to make your post and then you need to respond to, I'm gonna change this right now. One other post. Okay? You just have to respond to one other person. I'll probably change this in my other post. There you go. One. There you go. Okay, so that's what's due tonight and the quiz. So that's easy. All right, and then what we were looking at before was what's due next Thursday, right? Is that the 16th? Yeah. So you got the quiz, interactive review slides, that's very easy. And then here's your, the main questions here. All right, so let's try to answer one or two of these right now. So, can anybody tell us, now that you've learned a little bit about object-oriented programming, what is a class?
Class
Yeah,
is like
Nick.
a blueprint that's used to create objects.
Like a blueprint used to create objects. Good, good. Remember I had the blueprint drawn of a house, and then we make houses from the blueprint, and the houses are like the object, right? And then you can make multiple houses from one blueprint. Good. All right, that was good. So it's like a blueprint used to create an object. What is an object then? What's an object? Remember I said it's like in English is it a verb? Is it an adjective? A noun. It's a noun. It's a thing, right? It would be something that you can see. What's the definition of a noun? Person, place, or thing?
And do all objects get stored in memory?
That's a good question. You might have this on your quiz, I'm not sure. So when you create an object, when you define the class, like say I said class, I'm gonna create we're gonna do this later today. I'm gonna create a cell phone class, right? And then I'm gonna have some definitions in here, some methods. Define, set, model. And it's gonna take self and model as arguments. And then I'm gonna say self dot model equals model. Okay, so that's my whole class right now. Very simple. And then down here, I'm gonna create a new cell phone. My cell phone. My cell phone. Spell this. Equals cell phone. So this doesn't take up memory per se. This, right when you create a new one, this creates a new object. And this takes up memory. This part right here is the one that takes up memory when you create a new object. So now this is my object, right? So what is it? What is an object? So we use the class to create an object. There it is. What is an object then? What does it have? What attributes does it have? What characteristics does an object have? It has, what are these things called? What is that called? Starts with an M.
Methods.
Method, yeah. These are methods. They're just like functions in the outside world, but inside of a class they're called methods, right? And then what is this right there called? That's like a variable, right? It's a variable, but we call it something different inside a class. Or it could be called an attribute or a field. Okay? So model. And since we didn't put any underscores in front of the name, is it public or private? Public. Which means you could see this outside of being in the class here. Which means I could, since this is public, I could say my cell phone dot model equals X1000, whatever the model of the cell phone is, right? Since this is public right here. Okay? So now you have an idea what an object is, right? So an object has methods and it has variables, and they're all together. So what does being all together mean? Encapsulation, right? It's like a capsule. Everything is contained inside the object. The data and the methods are all together in one, like a pill capsule. Okay. What is a constructor? Did we use a constructor already? What did I do? Did I jump backwards? Oh. Oh, I jumped to, wait a minute, there it is. I forgot, this is live now. Okay, did we use a constructor yet in this code over here? When you create a new object, a constructor is automatically called. So right here, I created a new cell phone object. So the constructor, the default constructor, was called right here. It makes a new one. We can write our custom constructors if we want. But that's a constructor. It makes a new object. What's inheritance? Anybody remember?
Well, it's kind of like when you can kind of reuse like an attribute or like field.
Yeah.
Like above.
Yeah. Yeah.
You reuse it.
That's right. We had an animal class,
yeah,
right?
animal, yeah.
And then what was an animal? A dog was an animal and a cat was an animal. So they all shared the attributes
Of the animal.
and the methods of the animal. Yeah. So that's inheritance. What was a superclass? If I had, I'm gonna have to erase this board here. So anyway, this is what CIS
Class that your
was.
class goes into?
Say that again, Tim?
A class that your class goes into?
Yep. Okay, so, goodness gracious, I hate this. Nina, you know, the vice president here, she's real nice. And she's like, and I said, I'm gonna buy a whiteboard for you if you guys can't afford it and install it. She says, well, we have to get good ones because the cheap ones last like about a year. So this is a cheap one. I want to get something new for this. And I said, well, when I was teaching on the east side, the east campus, has anybody been over there? And it's called the Fusion Room. Has anybody ever had a class out there? It's a really, that's like my favorite room to ever teach in. It's really huge. It's got like 2 big projectors. One projects on one side of the room, one projects on the other. And it's got these glass, they're made out of glass whiteboards. They're kind of white, but they're made out of glass. They're beautiful, and they're all over the room. So whenever I have you guys do group work, you can go everywhere. It's great. Okay, so if I'm going to draw, so what's a superclass? So I'm just going to draw this in. So this was something, and then we had something else here, and something else here. Somebody tell me what I could put here, here, and here. That would be correct. That would sort of explain what a superclass is and a subclass.
Like, has ears and then cats and dogs below it, or the other way around,
Close.
or neither?
So go, think of more broadly.
Think more broadly.
Animals.
Animals,
So you could, like animal. Okay, so we got this class here, which is animal. Hey, so is this a superclass or a subclass? Super, yeah. And what's another name for the superclass?
Base class.
Base class. Which kind of sounds weird. You think of base being at the bottom. Okay, so what kind of animals are there? Let's choose something other than dog or cat.
Snake.
Snake? Is snake an animal?
Oh, that's all.
It's a reptile,
Oh yeah.
but I think it's still called an animal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We could either, we could further break animals into reptiles and then under that, because like, is a spider a reptile?
No.
No.
A spider's an
Arachnid.
arachnid. That's a whole different species of insects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could even have an insect class over here. And under that, we could have arachnid, right? So we have a snake. What's another animal? Think about the ocean. Give me something that lives in the ocean. Dolphin. Okay, good. All right, cool. So what are these classes now?
Subclasses.
They're all subclasses. All these things, they're all subclasses. And then this is a subclass of insect. Right? So if I have a method that says makes sound, okay, in here, we could say an animal, we could say says grr. Okay, what does a dolphin do? Do they make sound? Yeah?
Yeah.
Anybody ever been swimming in the ocean when there's dolphins around? I have been. You can hear all this echo location down in Mexico, yeah. You can hear all this noise that they're making. It's crazy. It's really loud in the water. So they make a sound. We'll call it echo. Does a snake make a sound?
Is it?
The rattler.
Rattler?
Yeah.
Yeah, make a sound. It's a rattler, and it could rattle. Or snakes hiss too, right?
Mm-hmm.
They hiss. Insects, of course, insects make noise, right? Cicadas,
Mm-hmm.
they make a lot of noise in the summer. Spiders don't make much noise though, that we can hear. I don't know, maybe tarantulas. I don't know. I've never heard a spider make a sound. But who knows? If we were real small, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and we were like little and spider
They can't
were
move
big,
air.
we might hear something. Okay, so superclass and subclass. We got this superclass. We got subclass. We talked about inheritance, which means anything that's in here automatically goes into every subclass. So if I have a method called make sound, everything that inherits this has the make sound automatically. Okay? But we could have a new one for this. So everything's gonna inherit make sound, but we could have a snake that could say is poisonous. It could have a field called is poisonous, and that could either be true or false. Okay? So this could be something that's unique to the snake. So it inherits make sound, but it has its own unique, this would be an attribute, is poisonous. I mean, there's poisonous snakes here, right? There's mostly the rattlers. I think that's probably the only poisonous snake here in Arizona. I don't know what else. Funny story, sideline, my neighbor's from Wisconsin. She's old, she's probably like 80. And she's lived here in Winter Haven forever, like 50 years. And when her husband was alive, she's like, oh yeah, I saw a snake in the back and I had Dick kill it, my husband, because I kill all snakes. And I got into an argument with her and I'm like, well, what kind of snake was it? Oh, I don't know, I just kill every snake I see. And I'm like, there's good snakes, you know? So, you know, they're not all bad, and I never even kill anything. If I even see a rattler, I won't kill it. I mean, why kill a snake, you know? Unless it's like,
At your door.
Attack you.
yeah, if it's attacking, they're not after you, you know? It's stupid. So anyway, like about a year ago, so I've got king snakes living in my backyard now. And there was little babies, because they were living in my neighbor's wood pile. And then I saw this little baby king snake about this long. And I went and looked at him and said, wow, look at you. And he was like, he coiled up and was hissing at me and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, just, I'm going to leave you alone. Now he's this big, right? And he lives underneath one of my little sprinkler things there. And I know where he lives and sleeps. And so I saw two medium-sized king snakes mating in my neighbor's yard. She called me. She said, you got to come and check this out. Are these poisonous or what? I said, no, these are king snakes. They're mating. And the male had bit the female on the head, kind of, and they were all like wrapped up together. And then they were connected near the bottom of the snakes. They were just sort of connected there. And I said, this is cool. It's like, this is great, Pat. These snakes are good. They eat rats. They eat mice, you know, and, you know,
And snakes.
vermin, you know, and we have a lot of pack rats and stuff there. So I brought my neighbor across the street over because he had a little girl and boy so them to see it. And we were like, and that is so cool. You hardly ever get to see that. And then all of a sudden they just broke up and they just slithered back under the fence to my yard. Right, and then I touched one of its tails real carefully. I was like, oh yeah, look, could you touch the tail? And then the little girl's like, can I touch it? I'm like, yeah, just touch it. It's all right. It's not gonna harm you. So I think maybe I converted her into liking snakes. But so anyway, so back to this. So we have a superclass. Subclasses inherit all the methods and attributes of the superclass, but you can add your own. Okay, so dolphin could have its own, like can swim. Although snakes can swim, can't they? But probably not all animals can swim.
Snakes can swim.
Snakes can swim. You ever seen a snake swim? They're like, I know an animal that doesn't swim. My desert tortoises, they're animals, right? They don't swim. You put them in the water and they just go bloke down to the bottom. Yeah, they can't swim. They can hold their breath for a long time, which is crazy. Here's another story. You guys don't care, right? We're almost done. So we had, you know how we have monsoons here, right? In the summer, and it rains like crazy. So my tortoises were digging these big deep holes underneath my grapefruit tree, like so far that I couldn't even reach my hand in, right? So the whole tree fills up, the whole tree well fills up real fast. And I knew there was turtles in there. And I'm like, man, I gotta get, so I'm on my hands and knees, reaching in there, completely full of water, finally feel a tortoise, grab him, pull him out, he comes out, and he goes, like that. But they can hold their breath for a long, long time. And then my wife, by mistake, left the water on in our garden where I have a bunch of the little tortoises, baby ones, and so she turns the water on, then goes inside and leaves it on for like an hour. So the whole garden fills up with water, and I go out there and there's about 6 tortoises floating, dead. baby ones, lifeless, right? Let's pick them up and they're just, whoa. And I'm like, dang, I'm gonna try to revive them. So I get them with their head here and I just shake the water out of them. Then I put my hand over here, start blowing into their mouths, like that. They're still lifeless. Put them inside a box, bring them inside the house. And in about 2 hours, they all revived. But they were like completely dead. They looked totally dead, but they can just hold their breath so long, and they all came back to life. But water was coming out of their bodies, so I was shaking them. It was funny. Okay, so you guys got a good jump on next week's assignment. And let's go back to this.
I almost mistook a snake for a garden hose last week. It scared the crap out of me.
Is that right? Well, it's funny, I go on a bike ride about every other day. I went on one today on the river trail, and I see snakes a lot. And usually I'll see a rattlesnake crossing the bike path. And I saw one maybe about a month ago. And they do it in the afternoon usually when it gets hot. They're just like turtles. The turtles are, when they're cold, in the morning they don't come out. They walk real slow like this. They're just like, snakes are like that, cold-blooded. They need to get warmed up to get moving. So I see a snake, a rattler crossing, and what I like to do is stop and put my bike in front of it so no other biker will run over it. So this lady was walking, and I said, check this out, look at this rattler, he's going across nice and slow. Yeah, that's cool. And then this idiot, here I am on the road, and it's almost, this is the side where he's trying to get to, and I'm right here with my bike, and this guy goes around me on this side, like with this much path, and almost ran the snake over. Didn't get him, but. And then I saw a totally black snake, I don't know what it was, crossing, and it looked just like the pavement. And I was like riding, and I just looked up and barely saw it, and I went, whoa! And it was coming pretty fast, and then it saw me, I thought, man, I hope I don't run over it. And it saw me and jumped back, but I don't know what kind of snake it was totally black. So I don't know. King snakes are usually yellow and black. And you guys know, I know we're getting totally off the subject. You guys know the rule about if you know what a coral snake is? You know the old,
Yeah.
do you know the
red, white, and black or something like that?
yeah,
Yellow?
so, yeah, if you ever see a coral snake,
Are they little?
this is the thing to remember. Red on yellow, kill a fellow.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Red on black,
And a jack.
friend of Jack. Friend of Jack. So remember that if you ever see a coral snake. So if a red touches a black, they're safe. But if a red, because they have little bands on them, if a red touches a yellow, then they're poisonous. And I remember seeing my grandma when I was a little kid living up in Globe, and a little coral snake came out, and she got a broom and went out there and just started whacking it with this broom. And I don't know if she knew that old, but I always look at that, and I've seen a lot of what could be coral snakes or not, but that'll tell you if it's a coral snake. If it's got red touching yellow, then you gotta watch out. And then when I was a kid, I remember down at my grandma's, I caught a scorpion, and I had it in my hand, and I said, look, a baby lobster. And my grandma just slapped that scorpion off my hand so fast. I still remember that. I was probably like 4 years old. Okay, so everybody's here. Let's go ahead and let's poll everybody. I was going to wait till everybody got here. What do you guys want to learn for, let's call it next Tuesday, okay? And we'll vote because we have 2 free classes. So what I'm proposing is we could learn something new from one of these lists on Tuesday, and then Thursday we can review for the final. Does that sound, just raise your hand if that sounds reasonable to most people. Okay. All right, so we got a democracy here. Whoever votes the most will do it. Okay, so for option number 1, let's say GIS, how many votes do we have? And you guys can vote for multiple ones. So we have GIS, we have web programming, and we have, C program.
I wanted a reminder of what you were saying GIS was.
Geographic Information Systems.
Coordinates?
It's like what Google Maps is. When you see the map and you see houses and you see streets. So it's polygons, which are shapes and lines, points, lines, and polygons. And it's putting them on the surface of the earth with coordinates that will map into mapping software.
Okay.
So if I was flying in an airplane and took a picture of your house, and then I drew a line around the outline of your house, and I geo-referenced it in GIS software, you could plot that polygon on top of your your house in the real world on a map, and it would plot there. So that's GIS, and then Python, you can automate GIS with Python. C programming, we have programming for the web. We have Unix basics, which is also Linux. And I could show you how to enable Linux on your own Windows machine. SQL basics or review. Okay, so we've got, let's see how many votes we've got. We'll see which one or 2 of these wins out. We can maybe even cover a couple.
Bad idea before finals.
All right, how many people would like to learn more about GIS? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How many C programming? Learn a little bit about C programming. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6. Okay, good. You might be taking C programming. If you take it, you'll probably get me. I think I'm one of the only C teachers at Pima College. How about programming for the web? How many people are interested in that? Richard? Anyone else? Oh, Adrian, good. 2. Unix programming. 1, 2. You can vote for more than one thing. 1, 2.
Oh, what?
4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. SQL. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then we're going to review for the final on this. So this will be Tuesday's class, right? And then we're going to review for the final on Thursday. This will be Thursday.
Can you add 1 vote to program for the web using Linux, HTML, Perl, Apache? Since I know we can vote again.
This one here, yeah.
3.
Okay, so we got a winner. C programming is our clear winner. 6 votes.
We're gonna confuse ourselves.
You might confuse yourself a little before the final, trying to learn a new language, huh? Although
That's
all
what
these
you
things are a little bit, but we wouldn't get into a ton of depth. I think we can cover 2 topics. We can have half a class on one, half a class on the other. Okay, so it looks like we're going to look at a little bit of C. Don't worry, you're not going to have to memorize stuff in this. And it's very similar. It's very similar to Python, really. Okay, so what's between these other choices? Okay, it looks like these 2 tied. Okay, how many? Let's have a vote off here on Unix or SQL. How many now say Unix? We're just looking at Unix and SQL. Unix or Linux? 1, 2, 3, 4, have 6. Oh, I didn't see it back there, Karen. All right, cool. 6. 6 for Unix now. SQL. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got Unix. That'll be cool. I love all these things. So, okay, so this gives me an idea what to prepare for next Tuesday. Okay. So we'll just cover about, half the class on C and half the class on Unix.
Was web the one where you were gonna show one of your backends?
It was. Yeah. Yeah, but I can do that during the Unix class.
Cool.
I'll actually log in and show you what the back end of my track database looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, cool. So we covered a lot. I just wanted to wait for everybody to get here. So what we're going to learn about today is we're going to review a little bit about Gesundheit, object-oriented programming, and I'm going to show you a way to access private attributes a different way. Remember how it failed on us last time when we tried to access it if it had 2 underscores? There's another way to get to it. I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you this pretty cool module that you can import called doctest. And you can test your Python scripts before you run them and see if they're going to work properly, which is pretty neat. Did you run out of battery?
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of concepts we didn't get to too much. We have default constructors, right? So when I say, so we said C in Unix, right? I got to remember that. Let me send myself an email real fast. C and Unix next Tuesday. Cool. Yeah, so bring your laptops and we can figure out how we can go through the process if you want right here in class where you can enable Linux, a Linux kernel right on your laptop, and you can practice Unix right on your own laptop. If you're running Windows 10 or 11. Yeah. 10.
Are you tracking our attendance with Zoom?
Yeah, sorry. Did I not get you?
No.
Okay. Oh, and Natalie, I got you.
Or it meets on Zoom.
Go ahead and try to log in again, Tim. And Adrian.
Oh, I can't join this call.
Yeah, when I get home, sometimes I can't remember everybody that was here. There we go. And Yusuf, you're in now. Adrian, now you're in? All right, cool. Whoop, Carlos. Okay, very good, 20, excellent. Okay, so default constructors. So when we make a new object, like we did here, cell phone, and you're gonna do this as an exercise later. This is using the default, this is the object, this is the class. It calls a constructor, okay? That's the default constructor. If you have not created one yourself, it uses the default constructor. Default constructors take no parameters. They may or may not set values to the new object attributes. All languages are the same in this. As soon as you create a constructor with no arguments, the default constructor disappears. We also have destructors. What do you think a destructor does? What do you think a destructor does?
Deconstructs a constructor.
Yeah, destroys. It's an anti-constructor. They destroy the object. They deallocate the memory. Okay. Association between the allocated memory and the name. Okay. And the format of the destructor is you just put a little tilde, that little curly symbol, and the class name, and that's a destructor.
Is Tidla another character, or is that just tilde pronounced wrong, or is tilde actually called a Tidla? I'm tired of being confused about that.
This thing, it's called a tilde. I think it's spelled like that. Tilde. Tilde, yeah. It means approximate, right? If I say, you know, how old was Methuselah? Oh, he's approximately 800 years old. It means approximate when you see it like that.
In high school, my physical science teacher said that wrong. That's why I've been confused.
Called it
ever
Tidla?
since. Yeah, he said this is a Tidla.
I had a college professor that, God, he mispronounced one word all the time, and it just used to make all of us laugh. Forget what it was now. It was a GIS teacher. It was like a 500 level class. What was it? I can't remember. Yeah, so constructors in Python, destructors are called when an object gets destroyed in Python. Destructors are not needed as much in C++ because Python has a garbage collector that handles memory management automatically. Yeah, so if you see the word garbage collector, that's a program that runs in the background and will, if it notices that you're not using a variable anymore or the contents of it, and it's like syntactically, it's never going to get there and use it again, it'll just delete that memory and free it up. So here's another, the delete, _delete method is known as a destructor method in Python. It's called when all references to the garbage, there must be more here that I'm not showing. Let me see here. When all references to the object have been deleted, when an object is garbage collected, okay. A couple other terms that you might hear. There's a term called mutator. So that's the same as a setter. Like if I have a function here, let's create a mutator. Well, actually this is a mutator right here. This method would also be called a setter because it's setting the model variable or field. It's a setter or it's a mutator. It's just another, there's a whole bunch of terms in object-oriented programming. Don't get wrapped up or worried about it, okay? It's just giving a new value to an attribute. It's called a mutator. And the other one is called accessor. So if I have another function up here called, let's create another method called get model. And it takes just the self variable, and all it does is return self dot model. Okay, so this would be called a getter. There's setters and getters. So this gets the value. This sets the value. This is a setter, a getter, sorry, or an accessor. So just a couple new terms. Accessors query the object for the value of a field. Yeah, so return get field or return type get field. Yeah. Most new systems are created using object-oriented programming languages. The systems are viewed as a series of interacting objects, right? The main advantage of object-oriented system development is the ability to reuse code, right? Which Tony said. Like if somebody's already written an animal and they have all kinds of methods and attributes and everything, you don't even have to recreate all that stuff. You want to create a snake that inherits from animal, it's already there. So, for example, look at FedEx. They have offices all over the world. Software developers in the home office in Memphis designed a package class as part of their tracking system. Afterwards, software developers and other FedEx offices around the world reuse that package class. So they have it's a class called package. So it's like this class package. So this is what FedEx, they created their own, because all they deliver is packages, right? So they created their own, and then everybody else all around the world that uses FedEx can modify that code and write their own stuff by inheriting from the package class. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a break in a second here. Let's see. This is just a review of terminology. I think we covered most of this already. A class is a blueprint for a category of objects. You can think of a class as a factory for creating objects. That's a good one. An object is an instance of a class. An instance, once a programmer creates an instance of a class, the object takes up space in the computer's memory. Attributes are the characteristics, okay, of an object. So this would be an attribute, the model, okay. Think of the object as a noun. The attributes are the adjectives that describe the noun, right? So the cell phone is the noun, and the model is the type of cell phone. Methods define the tasks that an object can perform. These are like the verbs. The object's the noun, the methods are the verbs. Encapsulation requires that we bundle an object's data and behaviors. Encapsulation allows information hiding. The design idea that data likely to be changed is stored separately from data not likely to be changed. So that's how this is data hiding. If we make this a private variable instead of public, then you can't see it outside. Inheritance allows classes to inherit commonly used data and behavior from other classes. We saw that over there. Let me scroll this up. This is just a review, okay, and then I'll let you guys take a break, and then we'll do the class exercise. Polymorphism. Poly means many, and morph means shape or form, many shapes. Different objects can share some of the same functionality. Different methods with the same name can perform the same action. So this is polymorphism right here. Animal has a make sound method. When you use it on the animal, it says grr. But when you use it, when you call it with the dolphin, which inherited it, it makes a different sound than an animal. A snake makes a different, it might rattle or hiss, okay? So it's the same method name, but does different things. So many shapes, many forms. So that's what polymorphism is.
Okay. And it can change many attributes or methods.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. So any questions on all that object-oriented terminology? So you guys, yeah.
To get that polymorphism effect, would you have to like define the same like function in the like that you did as animal in the dolphin?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That's right. That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. So you would say, I'm running out of space. Let me do it over here. So we would say, if we were going to make a dolphin, we would say class dolphin inherits from animal, like this. And then in here, we would say def makes sound self, and then we could say return self dot let's see, we would say something like echo. Right? So this is different than the animal which says grr. Right? So this would be self, echo, and so it's the same name as the one in the animal. That's what makes it polymorphism, the same name. But this one, you can define it to do something different. So each, for the snake, you would say, make sound, return hiss, right? Or rattle. Okay. All right, take a little break, guys. Come back about 2. And then I have a little class exercise for you. I think I'll send you this code here, so you don't have to type it up. So I want you to create a cell phone class, and then I want you to set the manufacturer field to your own phone, set the model number to your own phone's model number, if you know what that is, set the price, retail price to your own phone, what you pay for it, and then I want you to print out all those. So while you're gone, I'll email this to you.